In this video, we're going to show you how to check your psoas muscle at home. So many of you have a tight psoas that we've identified in the office, and you may even have an exercise in your exercise booklet that tells you to stretch one side or the other. But you'll use this technique if you're not sure if you're being effective with your stretch, or maybe you have a gut feeling about your body that maybe the other side might need stretched for a little while. And so this is how you would check your psoas at home. So Catherine is going to help me to show you the technique. And first she's going to close her eyes and get really square with her body. So in other words, you wouldn't want like 1 foot forward or one shoulder forward or like rocking on one hip or anything like that. So really square. And then keeping the focus more on the shoulder than in the hand, she's going to raise her hands up above her head. We're going to see if we can identify one hand that's shorter than the other. So you can see that the left arm, where the hands meet, is about 1 inch shorter than the right. And so that indicates that the left psoas needs to be stretched. And so you can do that the way that you normally would, and then check again afterwards. And if the stretch has been effective, you would expect the arms to be equal. This exercise is how to do the psoas stretch. So you've either identified which side is tight by doing the overhand psoas test, or you've been assigned a psoas stretch from your exercise booklet here at HealthWorks. So there are some tips on how to get a really good psoas stretch and a few things to avoid. So first we're going to go through the correct way to do the stretch, and Catherine's going to help us. So we previously identified that Catherine has a left tight psoas. So the side that you're stretching is the side that's down. So she's going to keep her left leg down. And, well, actually what she did before that, which we didn't talk about, was she squared up her body. So she made sure that her hips and her shoulders were square in line with whatever she was going to put her foot up on. So we're using a chair here, but a lot of people have success doing this like on the edge of a bathtub or a stair. So it doesn't have to be a chair. It just has to be something that gets the supporting leg up off the ground. So right leg up. Good. She's making sure that she's keeping her hips square. Now she's going to stand up really, really straight. And this is the tough part. What she's going to do now is she's going to squeeze her glute together so that her hip pops forward. And it's very subtle, so you might not be able to see it, but at home you want to practice just squeezing your glutes so that your hip rocks forward. And that puts the psoas in a nice, tight, supporting way so that when you go right into the stretch, it will start stretching immediately. So now from there, she's just going to start scissoring forward. And about that far, you should be able to feel a stretch. If you can't feel the stretch, you probably haven't done the hip tuck part properly. And so come back out of it and practice that again if you feel like you have to go really far. Even the most limber people, if you do the setup correctly, only just a little bit of scissoring forward will get you the stretch. So let me show you a couple of things that people will typically do wrong. The first one is that they'll start to arch their back. So see if you can like arch. Yeah, so no, don't do that. That will hurt your low back if you're arching. So this part of your torso stays up really, really straight. The other thing that I'll see people do wrong a lot is they'll start twisting. So they'll try and get this hip forward, but they'll be twisting like that. And that will also end up hurting you, so don't do that. And then the very last thing is that you do want to make sure that the bottom foot is straight ahead. So most of the time people will have their toe pointed out. Yeah, like that, which is not nearly as effective. That one's not likely to hurt you, but it's not as effective. If you have any questions about this stretch, please make sure to ask us in the office because this one is really important to do correctly and can make a big difference in the amount of pain that you're feeling in your hips and low back.